Yes, 50cc class racing here at the Rocky Mountain ATV MC AMA Amateur National Motocross Championship presented by Lucas Oil. Watch for the number 8 come through here. White flag is out in this special limited 4 to 6-year-old 50cc class. Now don't worry, I can make a bunch of jokes about these 4 to 6-year-old riders being homeschooled and going to training facilities full-time and already having factory contracts. Luckily, we are not at that point yet. We're not quite at the point where a 6-year-old is getting a 12-year deal to guarantee him into the pros. But I do have to remind people of that because the amateur program in the United States has gotten so much more sophisticated, so much smarter. It's so much harder to find diamonds in the rough. Because when back in the day, there was maybe one rider on one team making a big pro debut out of the amateurs with a factory ride. Now it's every team, every year, with several riders making debuts. So it goes back to this 50cc division. That's where the talent originally shines. A big change can come when they get on the 65s and have to start shifting gears. So you can't guarantee that today's 50cc race leader, like Cade Nightingale in the number 8, is going to be a Supercross race winner in 12 to 15 years. But you at least know that people are watching. These teams are hungry. They have loaded amateur decks. It's led to great racing here, but still somehow different pathways are still available if you have the talent. And that's what we're going to cover in our first episode of the Weege Show, coming to you from Loretta's. It's all brought to you by, of course, Race Tech. You know about the gold valves, plusher suspension with better bottoming resistance, more traction, and made and engineered in the USA. We're going to keep the giveaways going. You folks like these shows, so we're going to do 3 episodes from Loretta's, and that means 3 more chances to win. So check the email link in the video description. Send an email to Race Tech and get yourself a set of gold valves. Now I got to come in here because I got to work the 50cc podiums, and we're going to see how good these 4 to 6-year-olds are at thanking their sponsors. So we got some gold medals down here, a bronze and a silver, and a Bell Helmets Whole Shot Award as we wait for our riders to come in. Like I said though, the 50cc riders are not necessarily being scouted yet with future pro contracts. It's going to be a while before we know if one rider is just peaking earlier than others. There can be major discrepancies. But when you get into the upper ranks of the mini cycles and into the B and A classes, it would almost seem at this point that there isn't any talent left over. Every team has cornered the market on someone, but every once in a while something slips through. It's actually the case, for example, with Justin Cooper. Just a few years ago, we told his story so much that you're probably saying right now, dude, I already know the story. I'm tired of it. I know the guy was going to college for a year. He wasn't supposed to be that good. He wasn't supposed to win. I get it. Well, Justin Cooper won the Horizon Award and is arguably the fastest 250 rider. He can run pace with anybody, and he's pretty early in his pro career. So sometimes it happens like that. But there's a different story this year. Jet Lawrence. Let's talk about the Australian who's racing at Loretta's for the first time. He's an amateur on the AMSOIL Honda team. Now that AMSOIL Honda team, which is Geico Honda, as you know it in the pro ranks, they kind of started this. There was always Team Green, and occasionally Suzuki and Honda would have other good riders coming through. But the idea of taking your pro team and really investing pro money into the amateur ranks and spending some of the budget to get good bikes and good riders and integrate them into the system started with this squad way back. Justin Barcia, Trey Kennard, Eli Tomac, riders like that. Now that everybody else has copied that, they've all got good talent. And that includes that AMSOIL Honda team that already had Joe Shimoda and Carson Mumford. Looks like Nightingale just took the win. They had Shimoda and Mumford locked in the A-class already, but then a giant gift was bestowed upon them. There's an agent out there, and as loath as I am to give credit to agents, I can't make fun of this guy any longer. Lucas Myrtle was pounding the drum about Hunter Lawrence, who at that point was just starting to come of age in the GPs, starting to become a podium threat, and he was shopping him to teams in the United States. And along with that shopping spree came a shot at his brother Jet, who is younger, but maybe even more talented. So Honda picked up both. You've seen what Hunter can do with the pro ranks this year with 2 moto wins. Jet, he's been riding very well as an amateur. I haven't actually seen him ride yet until this week. Well, it was amazing what Jet Lawrence put together. I'm not just hyping it up, folks, but this might be the most stacked pro sport classes we've seen at Loretta's in a while. We didn't see any huge debuts at Hangtown this year. All the riders waited. So you're talking about Pierce Brown, Jalik Swoll, Mumford and Shimoda, who we were talking about already. Jet Lawrence, in his very first moto at Loretta's, put it to them. Then we had a moto today that was unbelievable. He and Swoll battled each other through traffic. Mumford was in it for a little while. With all said and done, it was virtually a tie across the line. No one could even tell between Swoll and Lawrence who was taking the win. It came down to 0.0006 tenths of a second, or actually that's thousandths, and the win went to Swoll, so he fought back. So Swole's an established star. He's won here at Loretta's a lot. He'll be very good. He's going to make his pro debut at Unadilla. But it's amazing to see Jet Lawrence also coming through and establishing himself. Here, do me a favor. I'm going to need one of you guys. Just hold this and shoot me on stage, Kyle Regal.
Oh yeah, here we go. On the
selfie
podium, Nightingale, I believe, with the whole shot.
Thanks, Kyle Regal, for holding my selfie stick so I can shoot this interview with our winner of the 50cc 4-6. Let's hear it for Cade Nightingale.
Yeah!
How'd you do that, Cade?
Really good. The track was pretty good.
Did you have fun?
Yeah.
And you pulled the whole shot, right?
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm going to give you the Bell Helmets Whole Shot Award. Can you hold that up? Let's hear it for Cade again.
Yeah!
Who do you want to thank, Cade?
My mom and dad, Cooper Moto, and Lee's Moto Lab, and those are phones.
All right, let's hear it for a moto winner, the number 8, Cade Nightingale.
Yeah, Cade!
Thanks, Kyle Regal. Thanks, Cade Nightingale. I'll be right back. I got to do a few more podiums. And we're back. Podium has concluded in the 4-6 class. We'll actually have the PW shaft drive group out next. So let's talk about that A class a little bit more. Jet Lawrence and Jalek Swole came across the line, as I said, 0.00006. We didn't even know that the monitors could go to the 10,000th of a second. I've never seen a moto settled with such a short, tiny margin. That's like less than a blink of an eye, I think literally. The win went to Swole. But the bottom line is, it was as good of racing as we've seen. I was always worried at this event that maybe the fact that so many riders were getting long-term deals and really didn't need to necessarily perform and win in their final year at Loretta's was going to hurt the racing here. No. Lawrence and Swole worked so hard. They wanted it so bad, and that's why they battled right to the end. Swole, great talent on the Rockstar Husky team, had a bad moto yesterday. He was leading Lawrence. He fell. He had more problems. And he said he was really angry and fired up about that, and that's what motivated him to come. He was seeing red the entire moto, and he wanted to get the moto win in the open pro sport class today, and he got that by the slimmest of margins. Lawrence rode incredibly well. When you watch Jet Lawrence ride, it's one of those classic riding styles where it seems like he's cruising, it seems like he's going 80%, standing up, letting the bike do the work, running a tall gear. We're over here in Greenville, by the way. This has always been Kawasaki's spot. Looks like they got Styles Robertson's bike getting ready, while Styles himself is just Styles Robertson just doing a cornhole. Kawasaki bikes on display. But it is good to see these A classes so flush with talent. So many riders that are gonna come up and race at Unadilla, but they still want to get it done here. But at the same time, for as much as all that talent is known, and you wouldn't think it's possible to have any diamonds left in the rough, they found one for that Honda team in Australia with Jet Lawrence. Remember that name. He's an amazing rider. No, I'm not sure about Cade Nightingale, who just won that 50cc class. I'm not sure if the kid who wins the PW shaft class coming up next is going to be the next big motocross superstar. But I do know this. Even if you're not a 50cc star, there is still room for riders from different avenues to work their way in. Jet Lawrence has proved it coming over from Australia, got a ride with a little help from his brother, and it's paying off. Justin Cooper proved it a few years ago. This amateur system is very well refined these days, but there's still a few holes here and there that riders can exploit, and that's what makes it so exciting. Jet Lawrence, an unknown commodity, taking on Swole, a very well-known commodity, and battling into virtually a tie in a moto. That's the heart of amateur racing. They didn't have to beat each other, they just wanted to. Made it really exciting, and also very encouraging for some more great racing throughout the rest of the week. Here's the Suzuki display, and there's the Honda folks. They've got a lot to be excited about. We'll get you more Weege shows throughout the week. Thanks for watching. Yeah.
Check me out.
Everybody's a star, I get it. Yeah, they're happy. Swole got a win, you're good. People love this show. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, they got a lot of bikes to work on here. A lot of bikes. Yeah, we even brought Lars out. Brought the A team. Absolutely. Wait a minute. But you want to know the efforts that Honda is going into with this program, bringing in 3 really strong A riders. That's Goose right there. I think he's calling Japan right now, just trying to like make sure that we got the right settings on all these bikes. They've all done a great job. I almost killed myself on that bike stand right there. So we got factory pro level mechanics working on these factory connection bikes. They're winning motos, they're doing a great job. Yes, the amateur game has changed quite a bit, but there's still an opportunity for an unknown to make a name for himself. Really exciting. Howdy.